Hey y'all, it's your girl J9 Eve, and this right here, what we are going to react to is back in the day. I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, Zero had a lawyer, and so the prosecution, the state, was trying to make it so that old Daryl boy couldn't wear his mask. They were like, "Look, he don't need that thing." The Coco don't want him no more than he want it. Okay? He don't need that. He's hiding behind it. So they're in here trying to make it so he can't wear his mask. And so, as you can see, he had a lawyer back then. I don't know how good this lawyer was, but you'll notice the way that he talks. It's like very slow. I mean, he makes a point, but there's like there ain't no charisma in this one. I can tell you that right now. So we're gonna just watch. And mostly I wanted to watch this because watch Daryl the entire time. Just watch him back when he was quiet. Back when he was the quiet type, the silent type, you know. Let's see. What's he doing in here? What's going on? What are we doing? What's happening?
So you don't, nothing you want to bring up today? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so Attorney Opera, you referenced a couple of other issues.
What's up, Opera? What's
one
up?
of which I already took under advisement. I think I addressed the timing. I think that leaves the face mask issue that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, there's a couple other things here on my checklist, Your Honor, but we can go to the face mask issue.
Yes, let's do
All right,
that.
go ahead.
It's appropriate. Your Honor, I have a request as to Mr. Brooks wearing a face mask at all times in the courtroom.
Look at
Frankly,
Daryl.
I'm
Look at
not sure the reason behind that. I guess it really doesn't matter other than to indicate there's certainly no court order requiring that, nor is there any requirement by the sheriff's office that he be required to wear a face mask in court. My concern is that identification of these defendants may be a significant issue in this case. The jury will be shown multiple videos and photographs of the driver.
It was funny, his hairline, like, I hate to keep harping on the hairline, but like, it's so weird. It's like the line. It's like the line that would be straight across if the island weren't there. Like, see the little island in the front? But if the island weren't there, his hairline would be way back in the center of his head, like where the middle of the peanut starts. You know what I mean? Oh my God, he's just hanging on to this little patch of hair. Shave that stuff off and just let it go. Just start anew. You know what I'm saying?
Of the SUV throughout the trial. They will hear testimony from eyewitnesses that we believe will identify the driver of the vehicle, but ultimately, that is the question they will have to be concerned with.
Look how his lawyer's looking at her.
Convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Brooks is the person who committed these crimes that he's accused of. And with the face mask that he's been wearing to court, I think almost every time, if not every time, I think impedes that ability of the jury to reach that conclusion as to identification of the defendant. So
Daryl's so short. He's like, it looks like he's probably got his feet on the ground and he's pushing himself back and forth. But it's actually more likely that his feet aren't touching the ground and that he's just swinging his legs back and forth, which is causing him to move like that. Like it's the force from his legs. Swing, swing, swing. Oh, Daryl.
My request is that he not wear one, but if there's some legitimate reason or medical reason or need for the mask, then at least there has to be appropriate lengthy occasions where the jury again can observe Mr. Brooks at the defense table and assist them in making that conclusion as to his identification. So, I mean, if this trial lasts 3 or 4 weeks, I don't think 5 minutes is fair compromise there. I would be asked that he be required to be without the mask for some substantial period of time, again, so that the jurors can observe him And many of the recordings and photographs are quick
Daryl, sit
screenshots
still.
and very short in duration, so it's not as if, we have a portrait that we could say,
Look at his
here's a
little white
portrait of the
socks.
driver, and here's Mr. Brooks, and you could just have him take off his mask for 5 minutes, and that would
Yeah, we get it. We want him to take off his mask. Look at that. Oh, God, froze Daryl in a weird position. Like, what was this? What was it? Look.
be sufficient, in our
Look.
opinion. So
Look at Daryl. Look at
that's
that.
our
Look at Daryl.
request, is that he be ordered to remove the face mask for the whole trial. If the court won't go that far, then
He think he on the playground,
sufficient
y'all.
amount of time for the jury to reach its own conclusions. And obviously, he'll have to do it temporarily when the witnesses are asked to identify him as
Oh
well.
my God, he's so weird.
Attorney Perry, I know there's not a written motion on this, so if you need some time to think about it, if you're prepared to address, great, I'll turn it over to you, but I know I'm first hearing this. Not a surprise, I would say. I had thought about some of the identification issues and how would we do that given the mask, but how would you like to handle that?
Well, I am surprised at the request that we be not permitted to wear a mask at all during the course of the trial. It's one thing if it were tailored to a particular witness, their described ability to perhaps identify him, and if needed in a particular moment, to take it up that way. But I mean, surely this isn't, we aren't so far removed from COVID that it's a mystery as to why somebody might be wearing a mask. Mr. Brooks has been consistent.
See, look, it almost kind of looks like Daryl is nodding his head yes, kind of like with his motion, just like this. I don't know if he's agreeing, but ain't there something? This is back when Daryl had a lawyer. Like he's like addressing the things, you know. Not once has he said subject matter or jurisdiction, you know. No grounds. Nobody has dug up any grounds yet, you know. It was nice. It was a nice time. It was a nice time. It's way back in the day.
You know, at the jail and court with being masked.
Look at Daryl.
You know, it's not at all uncommon. I think when we walked into the courthouse today, there was somebody, one of the security persons wearing a face mask.
Daryl is really gonna do this the whole time.
That's still it's less and less common, but that's still the world we find ourselves in. And for him to be taking those precautions to remain healthy, which frankly, with this desire not to have any delays, is kind of what it is.
See me dancing in the courtroom. Dancing on the ceiling. Ooh, oh, what a feeling. I wish I could switch places with the judge so I can reach down and grab old Daryl boy by his island.
Persist with that. So I would certainly object to any just blanket ruling that Mr. Brooks not be permitted to wear a mask. I would think that anybody in this courtroom should remain permitted.
See how slow the lawyer talks though?
If they
The lawyer talks so slow and like look at the judges even like yeah, uh-huh. Oh, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, you bored me, sir. I mean, I was picking up something I dropped. Proceed.
if they felt that that was necessary for themselves without having to provide, you know, a doctor's note or some special circumstance to permit that.
Doctor's note.
So I guess I think that's how I'd ask that this be handled is, you know, if it's a, you know, if there's testimony.
ever wonder how happy his lawyers were when he decided he wanted to represent himself? Or if they were happy. He's so hard to deal with. They had to have been extremely happy when that happened.
Testimony that, I saw Mr. Brooks face on, and, in order for me to identify him, I would need to see his whole face. I think, we should
He
address
is
it
still
that
rocking.
way, in the hearing, and we can be on advance notice that, for the minute that's necessary,
Look at his little
the,
feet. Look at his little legs,
expose his
y'all.
face
Little ankles.
to a witness. But I would absolutely object to an order that if myself or
Look at
Attorney Keys or
Look at
Mr.
his little
Brooks
feet.
wish to wear a mask in a public setting, if one of us were feeling symptomatic or nervous about whoever's at home, we haven't been wearing masks, but Mr. Brooks has. I would
Daryl got 1,000 years. Lawyer, you are boring me, honey. Let's get to what the judge says.
On identification. I do not believe that a blanket rule of no mask is necessary to do that. I think it's appropriate that
Very
Mr.
reasonable.
Brooks be required to unmask anytime that a witness is being asked to identify him, and to do so for
The way Daryl's rocking, it's almost like he's listening to music. Like, watch him.
an appropriate amount
Right?
of time.
Don't it look like he's listening to music?
I
He got
don't
music in
know
his head.
how many witnesses will be asked to identify him, but if there are, 7 arguments that he remain unmasked, so that the parties can make appropriate arguments. And
Yeah, we get it.
Again, I don't want to presume to know what types of photographs are coming in or evidence, but if it becomes appropriate to, for example, a booking photo, because that is unmasked and that is something that witnesses are also shown, that might be appropriate in light of his desire mask. When witnesses come about whether to mask or not, that in some respects it will have to be highlighted to the jury, even if it's with a question to them about that, not specifically as it relates to you, but there are some general questions in the voir dire script about that. And of course, temporarily unmasking for purposes of identification, and then perhaps an order that you unmask for portions of closing arguments. And again, and if he does choose to remain masked, then I would also entertain a request from the state, if you aren't already planning on using a booking photo.
Look at this. Yeah, we get it, Judge. We get it.
Photo or some other photo where he's unmasked to assist with identification. I think that's something I would entertain.
object to any just blanket rule.
Look at him. Just rocking back and forth. Just a rocking in the USA. To you, Daryl, I say, nice socks, bro. I haven't seen your socks. This is my first time seeing your socks. Because usually they put the little curtain around, so we couldn't see Daryl's little ankles. But there they are, calling out to us. Hey, Daryl's ankles, how you doing? Oh, I just wanted to poke fun a little bit. It gives me my little bit of joy for the day. Poke fun at Daryl for doing some weird shit. If this ain't weird, I don't know what is. He did this the entire time. He just rocked back and forth the entire time. This is his little exercise. Okay. Y'all behave, okay? Otherwise you're gonna end up like Daryl, rocking back and forth and fast forward with an island on your head. How unfortunate. Mama love you. Peace.